So I would have done something last night of this, but YouTube in Canada was acting wonky. If you're a Boston Bruins fan, listen to this. My condolences. If you're a Leafs fan, listen to this. You should play the lottery. Toronto was pretty well out of it in Game Five. Made a kind of not say late comeback, but pushed it overtime and won. In Game Six, Boston really didn't show up in Maple Leaf Gardens on May 2nd, and here we are, looking at probably something that hasn't happened in the NHL. We're not talking Stanley Cup here. We're talking Boston against Toronto. Toronto's never been beaten Boston in the playoffs since 1959. Let me put this in perspective about 1959. Beautiful year for rock and roll. I wasn't born. And the Cold War wasn't even the Cold War back then. It only started pretty well a few years later where it was communism. But, you know, the problem we have now, even gas stations weren't around like we see it now. So there's been big changes in 59. Now, according to CBC, there was great merriment in Toronto last night as Joseph Wall made 22 saves for the victory. Toronto had led 2-0 late before Boston got a kind of cheapo goal to make it 2-1. But again, no Austin Matthews. He's still suffering from whatever gastrointestinal thing or whatever's going on. He didn't play. William Nylander had a strong contest, especially one of the biggest goals for Toronto in the postseason in years, and with that late goal in the first period. Now, Wall did what he had to do. He was adequate. But Jeremy Swayman, his goaltending wasn't the best last night, and Toronto took advantage of it. Now, last year, of course, Boston was leading Florida 3-1, and he made a big comeback. That's going to be the minds of a lot of the Nesson faithful in the States or the Boston media. The Boston media has been rolling over the coals there since last night. I don't know if you've been catching some of the, what do you call the overnight broadcast or the morning sports broadcast this morning is not nice. Not nice. Well, calling this an elimination game is kind of a misnomer because Toronto might have been eliminated for any possibility to win the cup after going down 3-1. Very few teams win a Stanley Cup after going 7 games in the first round. If they do, they're very lucky. Now, the winner of this series will take on the Florida Panthers, who really upset the Tampa Bay Lightning 4-1 in that series in the second in the quarterfinal. Now, when Nylander snapped a 0-0 tie with 54.8 seconds left in the second, with somebody's patent Swedish style, sorry, it wasn't the first period, second period, my apologies. The slick winger took a pass from Tommy Lindgren in the offensive zone before weaving away from his check and firing a shot that glanced off Bruins defenseman Charlie McAvoy in front and bet Swayman on the short side. The goal, again, set up wild celebrations, blah, blah, blah. That's the crazy. I don't even talk about that tailgate party bullshit. That's not real fans anyway. Now, John Tavares had a great chance for Toronto. That whistle just wide before Wall went to work. After a shot pinball just wide with the Bruins buzzing, the rookie goalie made a huge stop with the glove on Charlie Coyle in tight to raucous approval. Now, Boston did continue to press, but Toronto made it 2-0 with 2:13 left in the contest when Nylander moved in alone after taking a pass from Matthew Nyes, who was having a great series, by the way. It's still the backhand behind Swayman's pads. Geeky scored late to make it 2-1 again to spoil Wall's first career shutout. Now, the Leafs battled back from 3-1 deficits against Boston in 13 and 18 before losing in 7. Toronto held a 3-2 lead against the Bruins in 2019, but then dropped 2 straight for a third series loss against Boston in 7 years. Now, the Leafs, who led 12-2 on a shot clock after the first period of Game 5, came out flying again Thursday with a couple of good chances and a physical opening 20 minutes. So I saw the teams combined for 48 hits. I watched the contest. Didn't impress me on either team. Now, Toronto's power play was terrible again. Is now 1 for 18 in the series. Leafs defenseman Jake McCabe had a terrific look from the slot early in the second before Boston star David Pastrnak took a double minor for high sticking, but Toronto again could not get anything going with the man advantage. Now, the Bruins finally registered a second shot more than 27 minutes in the game, and Wall had to be sharp on a couple of Pastrnak efforts and a Jake DeBrusk chance. Now, Toronto's under 5 penalty kill with 6 goals against and 14 chances these playoffs. Coming into Thursday, held firm later in the period. Wall had to make two big stops with the team's back even off McAvoy's stick to set the stage for Nylander at the other end. Now, the 20-year-old goalie became the first backstop in NHL history to have each of his first 4 career playoff starts come in potential elimination games. Thatcher Demko, Michael Hutchison, and Manny Fernandez, a blast from the past, are the only 2 other netminders to have their first 3 stats come in, win or go home contests. Leafs enforcer Ryan Reeves was a healthy scratch. Toronto winger Noah Gregor saw his first action in the series, and Morgan Riley, of course, added 2 assists on Nylander's counters. Now, Dalton Heinen was missing for Boston, and head coach Jim Montgomery, I think he's doing a very bad job in the series, said following Boston's morning skate, he's listed as day-to-day. John Beecher took Heinen's spot in the lineup. Veteran defenseman Kevin Shattenkirk returned to the fold after being replaced by Mac Grealick in Game 5. So as it stands right now, Game 5 is going to tell the tale towards Game 7. I tell you why. If Toronto can mimic what they did in Boston for the second time, all the power to them. But ladies and gentlemen, the Maple Leafs, since Austin Matthews is out, that's why the power play is not really clicking. He did his best to play in the last 2 games, but he's not ready to go. So as it stands right now, Toronto is going to be really, really hard pressed to keep that momentum going in Boston, because Game 7s are quite interesting. It's all about momentum. Now, the idea about the fan base is how they're going to take this. Obviously, Toronto fans are above the moon for that chance. But that doesn't win you a Stanley Cup, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. So this is kind of weird, and we're seeing a lot of late starts with these games. These are nationally televised games in the States, so it's a 9 o'clock start on Saturday, May 4th, which I think could be a new era for the Toronto Maple Leafs, or just another of the thing about it I talked about in the previous podcast. Same shit, different asshole. So it's the way it goes. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for the patience. I'm not... our good follower of the channel, Daniel Bowden, was kind of bummed out that I didn't do my review of the playoff last night. Congratulations to Edmonton making it to the quarterfinal round, because CBC doesn't want to call it the quarterfinals, calling it the second round. You made it to the quarterfinals. Let's call that. It's final 8. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, we're getting some little problems lately with weird crackpots posting sermons and diatribes about my comments on certain not comments on my podcast, especially me saying I don't like Don Cherry because he's right-wing leanings. People had offense by that. Here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. If I see you on this channel trying to take over my channel or trying to tell me my views on Don Cherry are not valid, I don't respect Don Cherry. I respect the fact he has a right to say what he's saying. But if you're going to come in this channel and freak out and give me, like one lady wrote, a 400-word sermon, you will be blocked. This channel is basically for fans that want to hear my opinion as a 41-year veteran of the sports wars in New Brunswick. If you don't like what I'm talking about, change your channel. You posting it, I'm going to take it down. You're wasting your effort. Seek me out on Facebook, and I can ban you there. You will be banned if I estimate you're just talking to self masturbate your emotions. You will be banned. If you make sense, you're going to stay. And I have to keep it strong for the rest of the followers of the channel, because there's a guy that didn't like Don Cherry, and he said so, and he basically said it, the short version, he's a right-wing nutjob. Well, to a right-winger, maybe that'd be insulting, but to the rest of us, he is a right-wing nutjob, but that's just our opinion. So, if you make a comment like that, it's going to be blocked, so either talk about the game or whatever, but I'm just letting you know, because I don't want to block anybody, but if you're going to fuck with me, I'm going to fuck with you, like I said. This is not, a pity-pat channel. This is for real people with real comments about real hockey. It's not about, free-for-all and CBC message boards in Canada. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing here, give us a like, comment, subscribe, or share. Good luck to Toronto and Boston in Game 7, because Florida's waiting, and you're going to need good luck to beat Florida. They're playing really good this year. Have a good one. Bye.